Hey, Loco sports fans, that's our theme music. We are rolling on Lowco Pigskin Live. Quite a few minutes, 35 minutes later than we anticipated, and we'll have more friends stopping by. But you got Justin Jarrett and Max Arraj with you to start things off. I will be looking at my phone a lot because that's what happens on this show. We are taking you inside the newsroom, so to speak, in real time as we round up the scores, the results, the stats, the stars, all that stuff from around the Lowco tonight. Final scores, if that's what you're interested in. If you're just here for the meat and potatoes, Carleton Prep 16-6 over John Paul II. I was there for the first half along with Tim Alonzo. And I'm trying to get him in here with us. We were up there. Solid game back and forth. JP2 scored first, got a turnover early, and went up 6-0. And then Carleton Prep kind of took over from there. They toughened up on defense. Unfortunate injury for Jackson Sanders. We'll get into that later on. But they won that one. Buford Academy rolled. I don't know what the final was. I know it was 29-0 when I think Wes headed for home, but they were up big on Hilton Head Prep. And then you were at Hilton Head Christian, where I think we all picked Porter Gaud. We kind of expected Porter Gaud would be the team tonight, but man, it was a back and forth battle for the first half tonight over there, and HHCA came out firing on offense. So what's kind of your takeaway from, and what was the final, by the way? 56.
Well, the game's still going on right now.
Oh, it's still going.
Yeah, it's still going. So there's 2:22 left in the fourth quarter. It's been all Porter Gaud in the second half. Although I will say in the first half, what a game we had for the first half between Hilton Head Christian and Porter Gaud. So I'll give a quick update, and then I'll hop off and join you guys back on to the Lowco Pigskin Live and from the Mad Max lair. And so we'll give a quick update. So going into the halftime, it was a 8-point game in favor of Porter Gaud, but Christian Academy led for most of the first quarter, and then into the second quarter, Porter Gaud took the lead, but it was a back and forth battle in the first half. And now going into the second half, it was a different story. It was all Porter Gaud, and they started slowly pulling away. And now the score so far, and probably will be the final score with 2:22 left in the fourth quarter. It's Porter Gaud 63, Hilton Head Christian Academy 33. So a 30-point game. We kind of expected it between Porter Gaud and Hilton Head Christian Academy, but I really like what I saw out of Hilton Head Christian Academy tonight. They're showing me that they're not a team looking at a kind of a rebuild year. They're a team that looks like they're ready to defend their state championship.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Porter Gaud is a top 4 team, if not higher, in 4A.
Absolutely.
So, and they had some real weapons back. So I'm not surprised they're putting up a lot of points. Schumann, the quarterback, was really solid last year, dual threat guy, and then Flood is an animal running back. So has Flood done a lot of damage tonight? He's been the guy for Porter Gaud?
He's been the guy for Porter Gaud. He's had a few rushing touchdowns so far in this game. But I will say Reed McCollum for Hilton Head Christian Academy, and his really his first start as quarterback for Hilton Head Christian Academy, he has been absolutely amazing to watch. He's made some mistakes, but that's given in your first start as a quarterback, and he'll get better only from here. And remember, he's only a junior, so they have him for the next 2 seasons. So it's really, really, really cool to watch him play. And boy, does he have an arm. But I will say this team is showing everyone that, hey, we're ready to defend the state championship right now. And it's really showing against this Porter Gaud team, despite the fact that it's a 30-point game in favor of Porter Gaud.
Yeah, Wes Kerr joining us now. Max just recapping the ongoing Hilton Head Christian Porter Gaud game, 63-33 over there at HHCA. Max will stick with us for a little bit here, and then he'll wrap up the game and join us a little bit later on for a little more analysis. But so Max, a couple other questions. So how they do their scoring, HHCA early? Who were the playmakers? McCollum, obviously, but who's he getting involved?
McCollum. Sorry, guys. There's currently an injury timeout on Porter Gaud's side. Doesn't look like it's good for the kid, but hopefully prayers up for him. But it's been quite a few minutes here now with an injury timeout. But I will say this. Reed McCollum's been a playmaker, and we mentioned that he has an arm, but he also has legs too. Like people don't realize, he's a very good runner as well, and he's been running the football all around today, and he's really been passing the ball around to everyone else. He's really been the main playmaker for Hill Knight Christian Academy tonight on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, it's a lot better than I thought they were gonna do tonight for the Eagles. It's more of a team effort. There hasn't been any real stars for this defense, or at least none that have shown up yet. But again, it's only the first game of the season for Hill Knight Christian Academy, and same with Porter Goud too. But I do think Reed McCollum's been really the star for the Eagles tonight, despite the 30-point difference. He's really shown that he can throw those balls. He's thrown quite a few deep balls too for touchdowns. So it's been really really impressive to see this Eagles team, and we didn't know what to expect out of Hilton Head Christian Academy this year, but I expect them to make a very good case for a back-to-back state championship, because
I'll
I
tell you
think
what,
this team's
if this is
they're
what we're
really
seeing
good.
to start off with a very young team, a lot of players from last year that are no longer on the field, not replaceable parts, to see what they're doing against a Porter Goud's program that has always produced some solid squads over the years. They've always been competitive, and to see McCollum playing like he has been, obviously the defense certainly like to see a better showing, but a lot of time to work on that, I'm sure, for producing company. But so far, you've got to be impressed with what you're seeing out there for Reed McCollum, especially that red hot start. They scored a couple early on in that game and continue to put the pressure on the Cyclones throughout. So terrific start from McCollum. I'm not surprised. Saw a lot of him last year, although he was mostly on the defensive side. Now he's taking up this spot under center and continuing to play both sides of the ball. So looking forward to seeing Reed McCollum in person. But Hilton Head Christian Academy, I didn't expect him to win this game, so I would say that this is kind of the expectations that I had. But
Yeah.
I'm kind of impressed by how well
I'm exactly the same. I'm with you 100%.
Hey, I'm gonna give you guys a quick update. So they're gonna be running the clock here. It looks like it's a pretty serious injury. So they had 2:22 left in the game. They're gonna run the clock and finish this game out. And looks like the teams are gonna gather together for prayer for the player for Porter Goud. I'm not.
I just got I was just getting text to that effect that
and believe it or not, I didn't.
Severe injury.
Yeah, it was a pretty bad injury. So we're currently waiting for the ambulance, I think, to show up. So not a great situation here, but that's going to end the game. Final score 63-33 in favor of Porter Goud over Hilton Head Christian Academy, and it looks like we're going to have a prayer for this player. And I'm not sure who the player's name is or what number he is, but
sending him all the best wishes. That's
absolutely.
Yeah,
sending our best.
Very difficult way to end off the game for both teams. But congratulations to Porter Goud on the win. They take it again. Once again, it's 63-33 in favor of Hilton Head Christian Academy.
And
I'll see you guys.
Tight. This was a one-score game.
All right. So you're gonna cut out, Max?
Yeah, I'm gonna hop off. I'll see you guys back here on the Lowco Pigskin Live. I'll let you boys take it away.
All right. Appreciate your update, man.
Take care. Not a problem. See you, boys.
All right, that's Max Arraj reporting live from Hilton Head Christian Academy, and we got another friend in the green room, Tim Alonso, joining us now. He was with me up in Waldoboro. We went up to Colleton Prep, saw the first half of JP2 and Colleton Prep, and it was a pretty good back and forth battle, 13-6 at halftime when we left, and the defenses kept it up in the second half. The only scoring a field goal, presumably like Connor Nettles. That's the kicker, the big kicker for Colleton Prep. So the final 16-6, and JP2 scored on the first drive. So after getting a turnover, Sebastian Slusny snatched it away, stripped it away, and they punched it in. And then Colleton Prep shut out from that point on. So there was a fairly serious injury. Doesn't sound like it was certainly not as serious as what it sounds like happened to Hilton Head Christian. But Jackson Sanders, Tim and I saw it more up close and personal than we would have cared to, dislocating his elbow, going out of bounds, and it looked like it was, pretty rough. So sending the best to him as well. And to his family, Louise Sanders' mom, the AD there. So, it's good for her that she's able to get on the field and be there with her kid. At least it's always hard when you're a parent up in the stands. That's such a scary feeling. But Tim, you're sort of uninitiated. You haven't seen a lot of schizo football in your days. You're a May River guy, so you're usually going to the public school games. But how about that crowd out at Carleton Prep tonight, huh?
Yeah, it was impressive, really, for the first game of the year. I mean, they had people. The stands were full. People all around the sidelines. People in the parking lot.
You
So
better
yeah, it was
believe it. They
impressive
had
to see just the whole town come out.
They had the teeny hawks out there, and they had the wee hawks, and I don't know. They were all
Yeah.
different, various sizes of hawks. The cheerleaders. There must have been like 100 cheerleaders out there on the field.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it was a great turnout in Waldoboro tonight. They were very welcoming. Everybody's always happy when Team Lowco shows up, and a good showing from the Carleton boys. They continue to impress. Year after year, they reload and they got something for everybody. So I'm trying to get a little shot up here of the crowd, just to give you a little bit of an idea. This was just the bleach or the stands, but they were packed along the fence all the way on the home side, and then a good contingent of JP2 fans making the trip as well. If you look real close, you might see Jimmy Searson's in there somewhere. Jimmy may be joining us in a bit as well to talk about the game. I think he's got a post-game interview. He was going to try to get a post-game interview with Coach Langdale, so we'll see if Jimmy hits us up when he gets home. But Tim, what do you think about what you saw from Carleton Prep and from JP2? I thought both teams looked pretty solid on defense early. There were a lot of turnovers. There were some mistakes, but I thought most of those were guys making plays on defense more than guys making mistakes on offense. And I thought both teams looked pretty fundamentally sound for early in the season.
Yeah, both the defenses looked really good. I mean, I'd say both of those teams were pretty well matched.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I mean, it was a defensive thriller all game. Carleton they tried really getting the run game going. They couldn't really get any big plays going, but they were working their way down the field. A couple turnovers cost them, but yeah, I think both of those teams are going to have real good years.
Yeah, they had some good big plays. Perry Corbett had a touchdown run. That first touchdown run, number 3, broke one around the right side and ran away from the defense. That was a nice play. I think 7, Jack Broderick. I feel like he had a couple of big plays. Walker Bryan was tough running the ball. And then Ben Kane, I think, number 9. Does that sound right? Did he score a touchdown? I didn't have a roster till after we left, but I felt like it was number 9 who scored the second touchdown. But I'm not positive. Jimmy will know for sure. Unfortunately, Sanders, that injury was really key for JP2 because he had made some nice plays on the edge. In fact, they had run the same play to him 2 plays in a row. Just that quick out, and the first time it didn't have much success. They shut it down. The second time he got a good gain, and then he messed up his arm. It went the wrong way.
Yeah, he had 2 good stops right there on the sideline. But yeah, that was just a brutal injury.
But yeah, Carleton boys, they're looking tough. They're they're what we expect of them year after year.
They're
they don't have
coached.
that. They're very well coached.
And
they don't have that like game breaking guy like Cole Davis, but they got a few guys who can rattle off a 10 or 15 yard run and maybe
they always
break
block
it longer.
well. What do you think of the offense? What do you think of the offensive line for how they played and really set
I
the
thought
tone?
they were pretty solid.
Really good on both sides.
I thought both offensive lines played pretty well. Obviously, the stats don't necessarily bear that out, the 16-6 score, but I thought they were both moving the ball pretty effectively on the ground. It was just turnovers were the things that, like, we only saw 1 punt in the first half.
Yeah.
So it was all turnovers, and they were all like across midfield when they turned it over.
It was
so
late
it
in
wasn't
drives.
like, they were moving the ball. They just weren't scoring. So I think both offenses were kind of ahead of schedule. I would say for breaking in new quarterbacks. Brown threw a couple picks in the first half. I don't know if he threw any in the second for JP2, but both of them were good plays.
One of them I got on video.
One of them
really
he might
good
not
catch.
have caught. Yeah, one of them he might not have caught. And then the other one was a really good play. So,
the
and I
other
thought
defender made a really
Owens,
good jump.
I thought Cale Owens played well at quarterback. He's just doing what they need him to do. Almost hooked up on a couple of big passes, just off on that one wheel route, and then that other one up the right sideline
He
right
had
in
the
front
deep
of us.
bomb.
Just missed those.
Missed him by a couple of yards.
Yeah. So, and with them playing in, JP2 playing in 3A, they're gonna have tough sledding. But Carlton Prep playing in 1A, their region's very tough, but they look like they'll be one of the teams in the mix.
I think Thomas Hayward is right there as well with Carlton Prep.
I think Thomas Hayward's the team, no question. Yeah. What was your final, Wes, over on Ladies Island?
Yeah, it was 29-0 the last I saw, and I had to book it all the way back to Hilton. It's an hour-long drive from Buford Academy, so it's a trek to get over there. But this was all Buford Academy. Although Hilton had Prep, I will say that they put together a solid first drive before that crucial interception in the red zone. And that kind of took the wind out of the sails of Prep. But other than that, Buford Academy full in control, and there were a couple guys that stood out, but Underwood was everywhere in this ball game. Terrific quickness and elusiveness at running back, but also came up huge with not one but two interceptions, including that first one right in the red zone, where it looked like Prep and White Armor and company were moving the ball well, and all of a sudden, BA coming up with the important takeaway right there. And after that, Eagles kind of used their tremendous coaching, and it's just the way that they're able to, even though they don't have those guys like a Porter or a Green, we've seen Underwood and those younger guys really step up here to really start off this new season. But he was outstanding. Juford with a tremendous 65-yard pass to Devin Fripp, put it right where it needed to be. And then Fripp was turning on the Jets all night long, but especially on that touchdown grab. Juford now is a senior, the leader of this team, and you expect him to not rely just on his legs, but he has developed a solid arm as well. And I think that you're going to see a lot more of that as we go on in the season. But Nick Underwood setting the tone with that rushing touchdown. He comes up with a tremendous athletic interception where he dove in front of a Hilton receiver to make that play. And that kind of, it does something to an opposing team when you get down red zone. It looked like you're going to punch it in. If they score, it's a completely different game. It was 6 minutes, so they could have taken the lead. And then
momentum is real. Yeah.
So yeah, even though BA looked like the better team and the more dominant team, Hilton had Prep. I don't think they were too far from making this a ball game. And I thought Prep showed some good signs on the defensive side, defensive line. I thought was impactful, but BA just had a lot of weapons that they're able to throw out at the Dolphins, especially when you look at the dynamic play of Dietrich Schuford. This is a guy who has seen so much skis of football, coming back to his days at Thomas Hayward before he came over to BA. And so it's a great guy to have under center if you're Buford Academy with all the experience that he has seen in skis over the years. But a great crowd on hand. BA always brings a terrific crowd in a game like this, and the pretty solid conditions for the first Friday night of the season here in the Lowco.
Oh, the weather was incredible.
Yeah,
the weather was really nice tonight. Yeah. Really nice. The final, by the way. Hold on. I got new toys. I forgot that I had new toys, but I do have new toys. Is it not in here? Where'd it go? There it is. The final score from Buford Academy, 36-7. That's the final. We have score alerts now. Nice. We also, down the road, when the Bobcats or the Jaguars play.
Oh yeah.
And then when we have a big hit, we have.
I see all the got a nice soundboard here this year.
I've been playing today. While I was in my classroom, I was playing around today.
Awesome.
And if I ever get around to getting us some highlights together, we'll also use these things. So the final from Buford Academy, here we go, 36-7. I made those two. So this was the dress rehearsal this week. We're making new toys, and we'll spruce them up for next week.
Season, but yeah, just going back to this game between BA, Hilton, and Prep. I thought that Hilton and Prep showed well for themselves despite the score line. I think the offense was flowing. It was the turnovers. Buford Academy forced 4 turnovers in that first half. 2 of those Underwood picks. So, just a couple of plays that kind of swayed that game in favor of BA very quickly. But I think Prep has the capabilities of making a game next week in St. Andrews. That's the big one for the Dolphins as you look big picture here in this season. You would like to be a little bit more competitive in terms of the score line, but I think there's a couple of positive takeaways that Coach can, sit back after this game and find ways to improve upon them. I thought they hung around defensively well enough, even though that, BA got some short fields and they were able to execute on some key plays late in series. But Hilton Head Prep, certainly, I thought that the defensive intensity was better than what I've seen. They, you just look over the past few years and they just struggled to make tackles. And I thought they did a good job when they had opportunities to make those tackles. They were able to get the job done a lot more than what I've seen in the past. So I think even though it was a convincing win for Buford Academy, I thought Hilton Head Prep did a good job of being up to this task and playing a good road effort style of game. And, if a couple plays go the other way, if Prep's able to score that first touchdown, it's a whole completely different game over there at Ladies Island. So I still am positive about the way that it's tough when you have an extended losing streak. I mean, after a winless season in 2023, and you're just trying to get that W. And it felt like at times they were right in this, and it just kind of, a couple plays going against them, and it snowballed quickly in the other direction, which is kind of how this game works sometimes. But credit to Buford Academy, because I wasn't sure what exactly I was going to get from them, what we're going to see from them. I knew Dietrich Schuford, he was going to be the guy. Dietrich has been, like I said, around here for a while, knows how to produce as a leader, as a quarterback in the skis level over here, and he looked as good as ever. That touchdown pass to Fripp was absolutely gorgeous. And, especially to see a guy that can beat you deep when you have the maneuverability of someone like Underwood, that can make BA kind of dangerous moving forward when you look at what this team can accomplish this year. So a really solid start over there for Buford Academy. And then defensively, they were tremendous, especially after that first drive. The pass rush got even better as that game wore along. Looking up some of these names because I want to shout some guys out individually because there were a couple that really showed out. Oliver McSweeney, the junior, was everywhere defensively, out there on the line, doing a great job of pressuring Harmer. He really impressed me for what he was able to do. And then also for Buford Academy, Nathan Byrne, number 77, the senior, was incredibly impactful as well out there on the line, came up with some TFLs, tackles for loss. And then for Buford County as well, Trace Delaney, we've known for a while. He came up with a fumble recovery. So BA has, the offense I thought was the big story in terms of Schuford's play as well as Nick Underwood, because we knew that they're losing some important pieces in the ground game with Porter and Green, and now you're trying to find the heir apparent who's going to be next. And they've got a good one, it seems, in Nick Underwood.
Yeah,
he's and got some nice quickness to the outside.
Yeah, he's tough. I mean, he was going to be Man, that Battery Creek. I know at Battery Creek they're going, what might have been, because like Chase Olsen's back at quarterback, and they got Damian Freeman, and they got Derek Smalls, and like they would have had Nick Underwood too, and that's always the flip side of that. I'm always happy for the kid that they're happy where they end up, but man, you always start thinking about the backfields that could have been and things like that. So one person's gain is somebody else's loss, but he's an impactful player on both sides of the ball, and we knew he would be, and he proved it tonight. 2 touchdown runs, 2 picks. Very impressive night for him, and I think he was frustrated last week because he really wanted to come out and show out, and they just played a really good team last week against Northwood, and he didn't have anywhere to run for most of that game, and so I think that was a little frustrating for him because he really wanted to go.
And a great performance by the offensive line as well. I thought that was the other important factor, especially early when Schubert was able to get some runs on the right side. Blockers did a great job of opening up those lanes, and so that was important, and that kind of set up the ability for Underwood to battle his way in for those scores. So the offensive line, especially that right side of the line, excellent job, especially early when Hilton Head Prep was looking to make some stops because it wasn't easy. I mean, it was that first drive. It took a while. It took a good amount of plays for BA to find the end zone, and give credit to the Hilton Head Prep team for put up a solid fight, even though the scoreline might not show it. I thought they put up a pretty good effort out there on the road against BA. Obviously, I'm sure they wanted a more competitive result in the end there, but you kind of turn your focus to this because it feels like this next week at St. Andrews, that's the one you want to get. You're at home. You're playing in the afternoon sun over in Sea Pines.
Yeah.
You take what some of the good things that you did, especially the way you played at times with that defensive line. I thought they were impactful throughout the early moments of this game. And then I thought Harmer looked okay. It hurts to see a couple of opportunities where he was aggressive and just unable to find those scores when they got close to the red zone. A couple of key turnovers. So just got to take care of the football. That's the important thing heading into this next game. If you can stay to what you do well and take care of the ball, you're going to have a great chance, I think, at St. Andrews to put up a solid result and compete for that win.
Yeah, and honestly, like St. Andrews ain't going to have a Nick Underwood, so like those 2 picks might be completions,
right?
Or incompletions or something.
Yeah. Because
so
that
game will slow down. Game will slow down. Honestly, Hilton Head Prep's in very much like the same boat that BA was in going into this week. They just played somebody they were a couple steps slower than, and it didn't go their way because the game was a little too fast, but it slows down next week. And so I feel like BA was in that same boat last week. They're just a little overmatched. They couldn't run with them. They couldn't stay with them. And Hilton Head Prep was there this week, but if they execute, if they improve, X% and execute well next week and execute the same level they do this week, even they'll have a lot more success next week than they did this week. It's all relative. So, I think the challenge for Coach McFadden is just keep the head up, that this doesn't define us. I know we want to end that streak, but we didn't this week, but that doesn't mean that we can't next week, so, but that guy's been down that road. He's a great football coach who's been doing it at the college level for a long time. So he'll have him in the right mindset. There were positives to take out, right? I mean, he'll have some positives to point to. And that's what you hope for.
The compete level was there. The execution at times was not, but the compete level I thought was at a higher level than what I've seen from this program. I thought they were playing for their coach, and it looked like they have some more pieces that have raised their level of their game. And so now you have an opportunity to compete more on your level next week against St. Andrews. And so, there are a few things to clean up, but all in all, I mean, this was a solid effort on the road from the Prep, and there are things you can take away, especially some solid ones from guys like Jake Sheehan, who was a beast on the defensive line, made a couple of big stops. I've loved watching him play. Senior, great leadership that he has shown on that team. So that's a rock you want to have perform defensively. And then Brody Hauscher, who you're looking to at wide receiver, who you're looking to at defensive back, linebacker. I mean, you lose a guy who was just so impactful in earlier on throughout the. I mean, it's just how can you make the most of who you have? Because at points throughout that these last few years, I don't want to say losing streak, but just the last few seasons for Hilton Head Prep, it seems like they have had some guys, but the depth hasn't been there, and the fight.
Yeah.
But it seems like they have more of them, and now, I think
their numbers are up. I think their
Right.
numbers are up. I don't know how many they had tonight, but I think at media day they had like 25, and
I mean,
you would expect that at some schools you expect that number to go down from where it starts, but at prep you expect it to go up because they got students coming in, and I don't think anybody's quitting the team really. Not when you get out there and there's only 25 guys. Man, you can't do that to your boys.
Yeah.
That's
No.
You're getting
That's
playing
rough.
time at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's playing. So,
Yeah,
I
but both
think
of
most
them,
likely they could have people coming in. They may be able to pick up some newcomers. But I've got your highlights together, Wes. We can check those out. But before we do, let's shout out MVP sponsors of Lowco Sports. Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of Lowco Sports, and my wife. She's with Keller Williams of the Lowcountry, and she would love to help you find your place in the Lowco or upgrade to a bigger, better place if you want to get in the real estate market. Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of Lowco Sports, and my wife will help you out. Homegrown Home Inspections will check out that home and make sure it is built right. They're the official home inspectors of Lowco Sports. And if you're building a new home, you got to have the phased inspection from Homegrown. They'll check on it every step of the way and make sure it's built right with Homegrown Home Inspections. Hospice Care of the Lowcountry is our official hospice provider. They provide hospice care, palliative care, and free grief counseling, plus much more at Hospice Care of the Lowcountry, where it's not about dying, it's about living. And Mickelson Law Firm, presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage and our official real estate closing attorney. They've been with us since the beginning, our original sponsor since 2017, Mickelson Law Firm. For all your legal needs. Those are MVP sponsors. We got highlights, boys. It's time for the highlights. We need a sound effect for the highlights too. I'll have to find a good one for that. But I'm all about these sound effects now. I just discovered this segment of the StreamYard, and I'm all about it. But here we go. The highlights. Oh wait, let's do it this way. We gotta go. We got the highlights here from Hilton Head Prep and Buford Academy. Here we go. Wes Kerr on the camera work.
Here it is. Nick Underwood opened it up, the scoring, battling across the goal line to get it started. Beginning what was a tremendous night out there for number 15. Buford Academy with a nice run to the outside and inside the 10-yard line.
Is that D-Train cooking?
Yeah, D-Train over there. And I'll tell you, Hilton Head Prep, I like the start they had that first drive. YR making the connection to the outside as Dolphins move it to the red zone. And a nice pass right there on the sideline. Look at that tremendous motor. Hilton Head Prep getting it inside the 10. And then here comes the long pass from Shuford over to Devin Fripp. And Fripp turning on the Jets, evading a couple Dolphins on the way to the end zone. Buford Academy with some tremendous fireworks there to extend the advantage.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
It's a great grab.
Fripp is fun, man. Oh,
what about that other pick?
Did he put it on the ground?
That wasn't Underwood. That was another guy. So they had 3 interceptions and then 1 fumble recovery. A great tip there.
Man. That's a great play.
Hands to pull that interception.
I must have accidentally put that video in there twice, so we got to watch a replay. That was great.
Whew.
Oh, man.
Look at those moves.
Yeah. I'm telling you, dude. Before he got hurt last year, that's when Battery Creek was dangerous. Was when he was in there.
Those are some. There's always some
him and Damien. together
Yep.
was lethal.
There are
It was
always
fun.
some underrated pickups you see in the so-called transfer portal.
The transfer portal, the Lowco transfer portal. Well,
looks
that
like
was
you
a
got a
big
really
one.
exciting game.
That was a pivotal one. Well, not really. It was a blowout. It was 30.
Yeah.
35
Well, at least
7
we
or
got to
whatever.
see a couple pass plays. We had
Yeah.
I think a total of
Well,
4 that went past 10 yards.
If you watched us preview these games the other night, I did say that game could go very quickly because neither one of
Oh
those
yeah.
teams was going to be very interested in throwing the ball.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, that was not a surprise. Both of them breaking in new QBs, and neither one of them's super keen on throwing the ball anyway. Like
Yeah.
it's not their favorite thing to do. So yeah, that wasn't surprising at all that we saw a lot of running plays.
Yeah,
That's
true.
a lot of speeds of football too. You're an offense guy, huh? You're not a defense guy.
Nah, I'm
some
an offense guy. It's more exciting to watch.
No
I've always
shame.
been that way.
No shame in that. No shame in that. I appreciate a good defensive game. It's
Yeah,
a
I
lot
do
easier
too.
to keep track
Yeah.
of later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can
baby.
appreciate it, but
Bravo, Charlie's back. Let's go, Loco Sports. Football's back, baby. Heck yeah, man. We're back in the game.
I
Getting it done.
respect good defenses. I love to see that tight contest where it takes
Or it's just a grind and you got to fight
Yeah.
for everything. I do.
yeah,
we get
It's
some of
always
that
good to
high
see.
school level for sure.
I like them both. I mean, my favorite game is probably like the, 28-21, 28-24, that
yeah.
kind of game. That's probably my favorite.
Give me
Just got a
at
little
least a
bit of
touchdown or 2 in the air, and then
yeah. I
I'm
do
good from
like
there.
yeah. I like some big plays, but I
Yeah,
also love turnovers. Turnovers are
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Turnovers make it
So
fun.
like that Carlton Prep game tonight, 13-6 at halftime, but it was action packed. Like
Yeah,
there was some chippiness. There was some like it had a
yeah.
little bit of everything. There was
There
a
was a couple
arm
times
going the
there
wrong
was a couple
direction.
little scuffle.
Not celebrating the arm going the other direction, but it was eventful to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were front and center for it. It was almost disturbingly so.
Yeah. I
We
did
had
not
to
expect
kind of
that at all.
distance ourselves, and the
I think
medics
I
were
have one of the
not in a
interceptions on
hurry.
video. Oh, not
Oh
a great
yeah.
video. I thought I had a good video of one of the interceptions.
I have some decent videos that I'm about to get up for that game, and I think Jimmy may be joining us, and we may have a special guest appearance from a very special guest coming soon. We'll see. He said he was going to try to get on his phone. I won't spoil it for y'all, but it'll be a good one if we pull it off. It'll be our first big guest of the season on game night. I'm working over here. Producer's working. I'm also trying to export these highlights. So you guys talk.
Yeah, Tim, tell me more about yourself. And
Yeah, great call.
yeah, because this is your first. Is this your debut performance here?
This is.
Yeah.
Tim and I played around in StreamYard the other night, and
So,
and I introduced
for
him.
the
And
local viewers, tell me more about yourself and about your journey here to Lowco.
Well, I'm from the area. I live right here in Bluffton. I went to May River. I'm currently up at Coastal Carolina. I'm going to be a senior this year, so I'm staying here this semester to do kind of like an internship thing. Kind of just learn all the ropes, kind of want to write a couple articles, get familiar on the shows, kind of just get my foot in the water.
Yeah, man.
And I figured this would be the best place to do it. I can be around home, familiar area. Yeah. Go from there.
That's great.
Man.
That's great. That's what we love about this Lowco Sports journey, and about what I've been able to do is an impact so many others who have gone through here and have done big things beyond that. I mean, we've had several interns who have done outstanding endeavors beyond the Lowco realm, and so it's great to see some more young people get involved. I mean, that's what we're all about. Is we want to get some more feet wet for these younger folks, and that's
exactly right. I'm still working on our highlight package here, but But I do have some highlights coming up. But we also have back in studio Max Arraj joining us, rejoining us on the Lowco Sports Lowdown after his incredible live report from Hilton Head Christian Academy. That's the plan this year. I ended up venturing all the way to Walterboro tonight, and as Tim can attest, I looked down at my watch at halftime and was like, "Oh shoot, we were supposed to leave a little while ago to make it back in time." And then we had to make our stop at the end market in Colleton. You can't leave Walterboro without stopping at the end market until the Quick Trip opens, and then you'll be able to stop at the Quick Trip.
But I'm planning to bring some more of my either laptop or camera once we move further in the season. I'm planning to do some more on-site coverage going forward from these teams, especially once they get to a little bit more. I mean, this one was a good one, but I expect a lot more hard-fought games that go deeper into the night as the season goes on. So I'm going to start bringing some more materials and covering these games more so live on location. And
agreed.
Sporting have that kind of show you're talking about, that red zone style show where you have looking reporters and all these different games are coming down to the wire, and it makes it exciting. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
That's where we're gonna get.
That's what we're gonna get. And shout out to anyone who's watching. Hey, if you support a high school team and you want to come onto the show and give us an update on what the game is where you guys are at, please feel free to, because it makes this show so much better and so much more wholesome. And I think the eventual goal is to have someone at the Lowco Sports headquarters per se, and be running the show and give updates throughout the.
The terminology I've used for years is that I started this thing as a white knuckled pilot, and the goal is to get to be the air traffic controller, where I sit at the controls and I get my reports from all my planes that are out there circling, and we get them all on the ground, so that is the goal. And we have now, I got 3 pilots sitting here, boys. We got pilots piling up. Jimmy Searson is a pilot. He's a seasoned pilot at this point. In fact, he's got a post-game interview with Coach Langdale that we're going to be able to hear a little bit later in the show. So what we're getting to is where we've kind of got layers to this thing now. At the start, we just talk about the games, who won, what happened. And then, we watch the highlights from Wes's game, and I've got the highlights queued up from our game. And I'm sure that Javon and them will have the highlights up on Beaufort's Own real soon, and we'll be able to share those. We'll have the highlights from all 3 games tonight. So the goal, next week we got 10 or 11 on the schedule.
Yeah.
We probably won't be able to manage highlights from all 10 of them, but we'll give it a shot, and we'll get as many as we can. So if you can help us out, and you're going to be at a game we're not going to be at, help us out. Let's get in touch. And Tim's got to go to the little boys' room, so we're going to pop him to the green room, let him run to the bathroom. See you, buddy. Live TV. Let yourself back in when you're ready. We do have at this time a special guest in the green room, and we'll let him be presented by the varsity sponsors of Lowco Sports. We got DDS Web Design, building, hosting, and maintaining websites for businesses and nonprofits to get results. So if you want to get found online so you can do more and think bigger, go to ddshhi.com. Parker Law Group serves legal needs across Colleton, Hampton, and Jasper counties, and they help us continue to expand our coverage in those counties and shine a light on more deserving teams and student athletes around the Lowco. Dr. Ambrose Coles, our official chiropractor of Lowco Sports, and you can find him at Rooted Living Wellness in Bluffton, where he will get you feeling right, mind, body, and spirit. And Reverence Wrestling Club, the official wrestling sponsor of Lowco Sports. They're taking wrestling to the next level in the Lowco, and they're the presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind right here on the Lowco Media Network. Those are our varsity sponsors, and if he's there, I can't tell for sure, but we're going to welcome Dietrich Schuford to the show. Dietrich, you there, buddy?
Yes, sir.
What's going on, man? Congratulations tonight on a big bounce back win. We were talking a little bit earlier, and I felt like last week you guys were just a little bit overmatched against a really good opponent in Northwood that you executed fairly well, but you were just kind of a step slow here and there, and that was kind of the difference on a lot of plays. Seemed like tonight the game slowed down a little bit, and you guys were the team playing at at a little bit faster pace, a little bit higher level. But it also seemed like Hilltop Prep is moving in the right direction. So give us a little bit of your thoughts on tonight's game.
Yeah, I mean, the team looked night and day different from the Northwood game. And, I mean, all credit to Northwood. They're a great team. They're going to go far this year. But
yeah,
we definitely played a lot worse than we could have against them. And we had a lot of big mistakes that we fixed this past week. And overall tonight, we executed very, very well. And everybody, was just into it. Because nobody wants to be on the receiving end of what we had against Northwood. So we just kind of had a little more hunger going into this one. And Prep's looking much more improved. And I mean,
they made you earn it for sure. They made you earn it, especially on that first drive. They put you in some tough situations, but you guys were able to get the job done and get a couple of early scores in that ball game. But saw a lot from you with those legs, but also your throwing ability on that long pass to Devin Fripp. So, tell me about this opportunity that you got tonight to just flush away what you did last week and move on to this new opportunity. And the offense was absolutely cooking.
Yeah, we were definitely firing on all cylinders, and it was a huge win. It's a huge bounce back, especially going into this bye week. It's much needed. Go into it with some momentum, really put our heads down and get to work this past week for our next game.
Right on, man. Nick Underwood kind of breaking out tonight. I felt like he was a little frustrated last week because just weren't any holes for him early. Those guys were in the backfield, breaking everything up and just busting up the misdirection. But a little bit of his chip on his shoulder this week. He seemed like he was motivated tonight.
Right, and I mean he was due for it. I mean he's a great athlete, and it's easy to get frustrated during our last game, but the chemistry definitely meshed together. He understood, even if something's not there, you got to put your head down and make a way. And he did a really good job of doing that tonight.
And he had produced 2 of 4 forced turnovers that you guys were able to put up on the board. The defense was phenomenal, and a couple of athletic plays, including that INT, and he had that tip pass leading to another reception. So, I mean, shout out some guys, especially Underwood, but there were many that were outstanding on the defensive side, and that's got to be huge for you to see the defense playing as well as they did tonight and come up with that 4 turnovers in one half of football.
Yeah, definitely gives you a good confidence boost and makes it a lot easier on the offensive end when you know that the guys are trying to get you the ball. They want the ball in your hands and they want you to put it in the end zone. So it really makes you, appreciate it, and you're very confident in their abilities when you know that they're rolling.
Yeah.
Get in there, Max.
Yeah, sorry. Dietrich, you guys had a tough game against Northwood. You come back, you play what is a much better Hillman Prep team. I thought the biggest question for you guys last week was your defense. How do you think your team's defense showed up tonight?
I think they just had a little more grit to them. They just, Northwood, they kind of came out the gate firing. They hit us pretty hard, and we didn't really respond the way that we expect to. I think tonight we really made a point to bring it to the other team early, and even if they do, get at us, you just put your nose down, and you just got to be the bigger man.
Right on, man. So great bounce back win for you guys tonight. Who you got next week?
We're on a bye week now, going into a bye week.
Oh, that's right.
Right, because he had the early game.
After that we have St. John's.
Okay. Yeah, St. John's. What have you seen from them so far? Have you looked at them at all, or you been paying attention?
We've seen a little bit of film from them. They scrimmaged Northwood before we played them, so we kind of got a peek of what they do a little bit, but definitely going to dive into them a little more this bye week.
How's it feel to be the big man on campus now? Your senior year, you've been at multiple schools. You were at Thomas Hayward and over to BA, but what does it mean like now to be finishing out your career and with the experience that you have had throughout Skiza football throughout the years? What does it mean to be that leader, that big man on campus for BA now?
I mean, yeah, it's a great feeling. And I mean, Jackson Porter and Devontae Green last year, they really made a good job of paving the way for this senior class to kind of step in and fill that role of leadership. And I mean, the team makes it easy. I mean, like I've said it many times, it's a brotherhood. even though, I mean, you got your senior class, there's really no big man on campus. Everyone's just there for each other. And with my time at Thomas Harrod, I'm very grateful for it. I've played with some great players that have gone on to do great things, and it just all helped me a lot to get where I am.
Very gracious answer, young man.
Yeah.
And as is to be expected, you've been well trained. We've been, interviewing you since you were a wee lad, so you ought to be good at it by now. But no, man, love watching you play, and it's always a pleasure to see you. You leave it all out there. And thanks for jumping on with us tonight on short notice. I appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing what you guys do down the road. Enjoy the week off, man. I mean,
Absolutely.
not a week
Thanks for
off,
having me.
but a night off on Friday. You going to a game next week?
Yeah, I'll have to check some schedules, see who's in the area, who's playing who.
Yeah, we got a full slate.
We may
slate.
we may have to give you an assignment, send you out as a reporter, and get you back in here next Friday night. Give us a report on whatever game you're at.
Hey, y'all just let me know.
All right, man. I'll be in touch. Take care,
sir.
D.
Thanks. Yep. Thank you for your time.
All right, man. Take care. You too.
Yes, sir.
Dietrich Shuford, all-timer right there. He's a great kid, man.
All
also
right.
saved me. I've said it many times, but that man, I owe him a lot. He saved me from the ice bucket after one of Thomas Hayward's state championships. The year he was hurting on crutches. He goes, "Hey, man, you might want to get away from my dad right now." And I was like, "Oh, shoot, thank you." I was about to get doused.
But you didn't say shoot, did you?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Is not what I said. While we're waiting, Tim had made his way back, and then I called him off because 5's a crowd, and now he's wandered away. So we'll wait for Tim to make his way back. But we do have comments. Jimmy Searson with comments post game from Greg Langdale, Carleton Prep after a 16-6 win over JP2. Maybe we'll see if it works.
Come on.
Oh wait, I gotta push play over here. I forgot how I was
that'd
doing
be
it.
smart. I can't hear it. Can you? Well.
Trying to get the audio here.
Yeah.
You guys can't hear it?
No, we can't hear it.
So it's not working. I can hear it on my end.
Yeah. I was wondering because you weren't saying anything, so I assumed something was going on.
So you guys couldn't hear that. I was listening to all that. Coach Langdale was telling us about. No, Jimmy's phone was acting up, and I don't know. The video that he sent me is not playing nice with the StreamYard. So we'll be able to hear that later on. Maybe we can get it on social media. But what I did hear, he was shouting out Walker Bryan for some tough running on the ground, and then Cale Owens for his play at quarterback, which certainly we had noted both those guys for their solid play. But looks like we got Ty back in here. What's up, Ty?
Hey.
All right, man. We let you go and walk about while we had Dietrich Shuford, who was terrific, by the way. I don't know if you were able to listen.
Yeah, I was watching it. My dad has it out there. I was just seeing what it looks like from the YouTube point of view.
There you go. Cool. Very good.
Great. It's great seeing your face on YouTube.
Yeah. Outstanding. But Dietrich was great as expected. He's a class act and a great interview, and that's why I texted him and said, "Hey man, you want on tonight?" And he joined us. So
sweet.
See, I'm working overtime over here as the producer, folks. But I do have highlights somewhere. My highlights from Carleton Prep JP2. So let me get those queued up, and then let me go. We had John Paul II at Carleton Prep. That's fun.
That's fun. I like that.
I was just playing around in Canva, and I made those. But I like those little intros. Cale Owens giving us a like tonight.
Great crowd from what you were talking about with.
Oh, dude, Carleton Prep knows how to show up for football games.
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
Let me tell you.
Indeed.
Tim was
man, they know how to
impressed.
show up.
Yeah. They had fireworks for the walkout.
They did have fireworks.
Dude.
Scared the bejesus out of Timmy.
Yeah, I was not expecting it at all.
Yeah, dude, they go all out. Dude, they go all out for middle school games too. I played middle school football games at this freaking field, and they go all out for that.
I bet it looked like the whole town showed up.
Hartman Fisk was some tough running. Well, in Colleton, I think they scrimmaged tonight, but they didn't play. They weren't at home tonight, so there were even Colleton County people were over there. I saw my friends the Slocums. Kiwi was out there being a tiny eagle or a tiny hawk or whatever she was. So, no, it was a great crowd. Well, we saw a lot of friends. We got a lot of Lowco shouts from the crowd, didn't we, Tim?
Yeah, they had our banners up too right at the entrance.
Yeah, they did. Coach Langdale hooking us up with the banners over there. So yeah, we love we appreciate the love out in Colleton. I'm sure you guys got similar love on Ladies Island and at Hilton Head Christian. But yeah, there's a few highlights from that game, and let's check on Buford's own and see if they've got a highlight package up from their game. No,
they were at Hilton Head Christian Academy tonight. I had no idea until about the third quarter that
they were.
That Javon and his crew were there. I had to go up and check them out and see what
pay your respects.
Yeah, man, of course.
I will pay your respects.
I made a quick recap while I was at the game. I do want to give a little bit of an update on that injury. Unfortunately, that kid had a lower leg injury. According to coaches, his season is over. It was a pretty bad injury. I'm not going to get into details, but he's currently on his way back to Charleston. So prayers up for him. I believe he's going to be going into surgery the moment he gets to MUSC. So prayers up for him. It was a pretty serious leg injury. So so keep him in your thoughts and prayers. But other than that, final score, obviously, Hilton Head Christian Academy 33, Porter-Gaud 63. A 30-point game, but didn't feel like a 30-point game until the second half, to be honest, because going into halftime, it was only an 8-point game in favor of Porter-Gaud. Hilton Head Christian Academy showed up, man. We weren't sure what to expect from this Hilton Head Christian Academy team, but again, they showed up. Mainly on the offensive side. The defensive side, there are going to be some things that they're going to work on for the upcoming game next Friday against Battery Creek, which should be an interesting game. I'm quite intrigued by that game, and I'm definitely going to be out for that one.
Yeah.
And I think defensively, they're much farther ahead than I expected them to be. Like, there were moments in that game where they stopped Porter-Gaud and held them on, but that Porter-Gaud Russian attack is just unreal. It's got to be among some of the best Russian attacks in Skiza 4A for sure.
Yeah,
it really showed.
Flood's the real deal.
Flood is the real deal, man. That dude can run, and he is hard to stop too. That dude can truck through players like it's nobody. I mean, he ran over a few Hilton Head Christian Academy players. I think. Wi-Fi gremlins are getting to me. But I think if you look at this game, I think it's a win. Yeah, I know. If you look at this game, it's a win mentally, I think, for Hilton Head Christian Academy, because it shows that they're where they need to be right now at this point in the season. They're much farther ahead than in terms of experience and talent than I expected them to be at. And that's a good place to be as you go into a game at Battery Creek. And, as you continue the rest of the season, again, they're only going to get better. I mean, we saw it last year. They got a lot better as the season went on. And I think they're going to do the same thing this year. And I'll say it again. I wouldn't be surprised if Christian Academy went on a title defense run. Because they look good enough to. They look good enough.
Here's
they
the
look
thing.
good enough to. I think defense is going to be their biggest problem.
Yeah, but they'll get that shored up. They will. I mean, Matt Smith.
We've seen it before. Matt
Smith is a wizard. He is a wizard, and he will. And Peduzzi,
but entire coaching staff and the defensive coordinators there. I mean,
what Smith's really good at now that Smith's seen it. What he's really good at is figuring out now. Okay, well, we figured out how they can beat us. Now, how can we make them not be able to beat us that way? And he'll go and he'll plug some holes, and it might spring a leak somewhere else, and he's got to plug that up. But I'm telling you, by the time they get to the games that matter, you won't want to play them. I wish for their sake that they got Pinewood a little bit later in the schedule rather than the first game of region. but no time like the present, I guess, too. Maybe you catch them sleeping.
Yeah.
But
I
think they'll round into form just fine. The quarterback's fine, and that was a big question.
Well,
he's got some guys.
He looks like
plays.
He looks like a winner that you need to get.
I will say this: there was one thing I saw in terms of Reed McCollum that I think it's going to be fixed as the season goes on. But when it comes to his passing game, he hesitates on passes. Now, I think that's going to get better. It's only his first start, granted. But I think that's going to get better as the season goes on. So I'm not worried there. What I am worried about is what happens if for some reason he gets injured. Who's backing up Reed McCollum at quarterback? I think that's a big question to ask if that ever comes to that case, being that he ends up getting injured and you need a quarterback to back him up. Who's going to be that backup quarterback? Right. And is he going to be able to lead this team like Reed can? And I think that's one of the worries.
That's everybody's problem.
I know that, but like last year, Dylan Clark was the quarterback and Reed was the backup, and I wasn't worried about it because I knew if Reed was in the game, it wouldn't be an issue. But
that's
now
we have
an issue. You want to have that backup plan, but
it's a good point.
And that's one of the questions I have. I don't know what that backup plan is, and if it is a backup plan. And I think that's where you're a little bit worried if you're Hilton Head Christian Academy. But right now, they look good, and I'm really excited for them because I really do think they may be on their way to a potential state title defense. And I think they are that good. I just think they're only going to get better. They have to fix some things, but I think they're only going up from here.
Like I said, this is what we saw in their first game. And the proverbial floor that you could see,
right?
I think that they're going to continue to step themselves to a point where they're, as you said, they're going to be a formidable team that you would have to face when the games matter. And it seems like it's been that way every year. And even when they haven't won it, man, they were a tough out. Even the year that couple seasons ago when they were knocked out early, that's just a really well coached team, and they take notes. They learn who they have, and as you said, they learn how to correct things that we're not gonna let them beat us when the games are of the highest magnitude. So,
let me ask you, Max, how much did McCollum play on defense, if at all?
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah,
I don't on defense.
Yeah,
I don't think they can afford for him to play on defense
when you get to the playoff. When you get to the playoffs,
maybe
I still don't think they'd make him play defense because of what because at this he's too valuable right now to them for him to get injured playing defense.
The value over replacement, because I just looked at the roster out of curiosity when you brought it up. The other two quarterbacks listed on the roster are a 5'9", 150-pound sophomore and a even smaller 5'9", 145-pound freshman.
So that is the guy you cannot afford. You can't afford to lose a guy like that. I mean,
he's the most valuable. He's a valuable player on the team. He is the most valuable player, and if he gets injured or you play him on defense, you're hurting your entire team if you do that.
And they got away with that with Jace. They were able to play Jace a good bit on defense, but
you had other guys. You still had.
He was playing safety too, and McCollum plays outside linebacker. Right. And you play outside linebacker, you're going to get a shoulder stinger here and there. You're going to get beat up a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I just think they have to have bubble wrap on him early on. Not on offense. They're going to let him run. They're going to let him be who he is. But I don't think they can afford to play him on defense, at least early. Now, whether they do that against Pinewood or, in the playoffs is yet to be seen. But he's a big, strong kid, though. He's 6'4", 200 pounds. Like the kid, there's not a lot of guys bigger than him out there, and that includes the linemen in skis of football. So, he's going to be able to endure a pretty good beating, I think. And without any trouble. He's a man out there, dude.
He's by far the tallest. He's by far the tallest player on the offense, 100%. But the best thing is for a guy his height and his caliber, man can run the football. I tell you, this kid knows how to run the football. Not only can he has an arm. Let's be honest, he does have an arm, but he also can run the football too, which makes him so much more dangerous. it actually really showed tonight because Porter Goud could not find ways to stop his running game. He was getting 5 to 7 yards every time he carried the football. So, I mean, Porter Goud couldn't figure it out. If they can't figure it out, I don't know how these 3A teams are going to figure it out. When you have that kind of
size and power as a runner on top of what you can do with an arm, that's a special quality to have at this level of football. So it's going to be tough for defenses to, consistently make stops and kind of who, in terms of the skill positions at wide receiver, running back, who else stood out in terms of, players that Reed could get the ball to and beat that game. Obviously, they have lost a few over the years, but who have you seen could take the extra step in terms of that skill position guy?
I mean, it's kind of a whole new look on defense. I think one of the players that stood out to me was Jackson Richardson. He had a really good game tonight, and him and Reed worked well together. So keep that name in your thoughts because I think he's going to break out for a really good year. I think right now out of this game, I think Reed McCollum was the star of this game for Hilton Head Christian Academy because he really passed the ball around to everyone. So it was a team effort for them tonight. Obviously, they didn't get the win, but it was a team effort, and everybody equally got passes thrown to them. So there wasn't really any other stars other than Reed McCollum. It was really his show tonight, and he was running it pretty well. But Porter Goud, just my God, they are just that's schizo 4A football for you. And the worst part is that's not the only 4A team they have to play this year. I mean, they got to go to Columbia to play Hammond, which I don't know how they're going to do that one. That's going to be an interesting game for Christian Academy, especially in the middle of the season too. But Christian Academy
there is a reason why you put those teams on your schedule, right?
I mean, this will be the first time since I believe 2012 since Hilton Head Christian Academy has played Hammond. I think the first time they played Hammond was when Hilton Head Christian Academy was on a title defense run back in the day in 2011, and it was the first game of the season. Hammond came to Hilton Head Christian Academy to play that team that consisted of Caleb Lewis, Cole Malfrisk, Kyle Weaver, all those guys. And they ended up losing 37-7. But after that, they did not lose a game. The rest of the season went on to win their second straight state championship. And then they played again in 2012 against Hammond at Hammond. And they only lost by 14 points. But, that was, in 2012. Here in, 2024, these are two very different teams. And we just don't know what to expect from it. But, I mean, this is a very tough schedule for Hilton Head Christian Academy. But, that first game is a real highlight for them. Even if they got the loss, it shows that they're ready to play and they're ready to make a statement on their title defense run.
Yeah, man. Well, I do now finally have our interview with Coach Langdale. If we want to hear from.
I think they do a lot of the same stuff we do.
Oh no, it's still not very good.
It's not great.
We'll know more when we watch the tape, but I know they're a good team.
Dang it. We're going to have to get that was also the second part of it, I think.
I will be
we're going to have to get Jimmy some better equipment. We're going to have to get him.
Get Jimmy on the show.
Get some donations.
I will say this. I didn't get a post-game interview, unfortunately, from that game because everyone went straight to the locker rooms because of the injury, which is that's fine. Right. I did get a halftime interview with Ron Peduzzi as they were heading into halftime. I asked him what do they need to do to go as they head into the second half. They're only down by 8, and he's like, just keep battling. And they did. It's just, Porter Goud was just too much for Hilton Head Christian Academy.
Just didn't have
I will post that for those who want to see the interview. I will post it up on my Instagram account, and we'll make sure to put it on the Lowco Sports Instagram account as well.
I guess as a collab.
Yes, absolutely.
As a collab, we'll put it on both.
We will go from there. So I'll put that up. Some great games tonight. But the next Friday we got a lot of games that are going to be around, including Lowco on Lowco games too.
Hold that thought. Let's get to the Lowco Booster Club, and then we'll look ahead to next week and have our parting thoughts. Shout out our players of the night and call tonight. Lowco Booster Club supports us, so please support them. We got our newest members of the Lowco Booster Club, Hurricanes Cafe, Sports Cafe out in Hampton. I think I may be stopping out there next week and seeing that Hampton Colleton Border Bowl. That's going to be fun. Court Lifestyle Pros, Daniel and Debbie Court, are with Charter One Realty. They want to bring you home to Hilton Head Island. Eagle Creations has promotional items and custom apparel, including the Lowco Swag Shop. We usually drop the link. I'm too tired right now, y'all. You just go on one of our last feeds. It's on there. It's also linked on the website, so you can find it there. Jay's Barbershop, the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. Stop in Jay's for great conversation and come out looking stylish in downtown Ridgeland. Barefoot Floor Care of the Lowcountry will get your floors so clean your feet will thank you. Thanks to Chris Odom for all of his support. Hudson Seafood House on the docks, great place for brunch, seafood, cocktails, sunsets, everything else. And they're the presenting sponsors of Under the Bus right now. And that's it. That's our Lowco Booster Club. We appreciate them. We're looking for more sponsors. So if you want to jump on board Team Lowco, get on board with us. $50 a month will get you started, or you can go big, swing big like the Mickelsons, and help us out, try to build this thing up and keep shining a light on teams and student athletes around the Lowco. So now let's look ahead to next week.
Ooh, we got a loaded slate.
Yeah, we got a good slate next week, don't we?
Yeah.
Wes, where are you going next week, buddy? What are you thinking?
I think I'm still going to Bluffton for Whale Branch, and
I figured you would.
Bobcats. But man, you know what game is looking really interesting right now? Hilton Christian County Battery Creek.
I think so too. I think that's where Mr. Arraj is going to be.
Yeah, I assumed you would go.
Big HHCA homer.
You were going to be in a treat for that one. I think that
will be
a tremendous ball game over there at Battery Creek. And don't sleep on Coach Susie and those Dolphins.
No, don't. You know, they're going to be better. They're going to be better this year. You know, I'm probably going to Colleton Hampton. I know, Tim, you were thinking about maybe going to the May River game. I'm sure Jimmy will make the trip up to Fort Dorchester for the Buford game. May River's got Airport at home. That's a pretty good matchup. Hardyville's at Bethune-Bowman. Yeah, Colleton Hampton is where I got to go. That's my squads. Eau Claire at Ridgeland. Lawrence Manning at JP2, St. Andrews at Hilton Head Prep, and then here's your low-key Donnybrook right here, Bethesda at Thomas Hayward.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good
little matchup right there.
If Battery Creek and Hilton Christian Academy wasn't on the table, I would definitely be going to that Thomas Hayward Bethesda game.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk to him. You know, May River Airport versus Thomas Hayward Bethesda. Probably May River Airport, but we got to make sure we got somebody at Thomas Hayward Bethesda because that's going to be a good one. Somebody, we just got to get somebody to go to Ridgeland. I bet we could get them a free meal somewhere downtown, and you know,
let me know when we get
the Ridgeland game and the THA game.
Tell me when we get a start time for Hilton Head Prep. I'm assuming it'll be sometime mid-afternoon, but I might pop over there.
They gotta check. They gotta check what time the sun goes down.
Who's Prep playing again?
St. Andrews. That's a winnable game, I think, for Hilton Head Prep. That is absolutely winnable.
I think so too.
Very much. It's an Edwardsless St. Andrews team, and that we haven't seen one of those in a long time. But they've been. Yeah. That's been a borderline winnable game, even the last couple of years. So I really think that's.
I think Prep has a real chance in this one.
They need to get.
Yeah.
I was intrigued by and just uplifted by how they played and the effort that they showed early on in the game. I mean, they were step for step with BA, and they made Buford Academy work for what they were able to do. And just a couple of those important turnovers were really the difference. But Hilton Head Prep has shown that they have a little bit more numbers this year, and the effort is really upped. With Coach McFadden. I like the way that he is getting the most out of this team and making the most out of his top guys. And I think the chip on the shoulder mentality. I mean, it's you got to find a way to stop that streak. And this is the game where I think the opportunity sets up the best for them to get that done. And
I do too. I think the longer it goes on, the harder it gets.
I'd love to see it happen.
I really hope they get it this week. That'd be huge for them. All right. We only got 3 games, so players of the night should be fairly easy. Wes, who you got, buddy?
Easy choice. It's
Easy.
got to be Underwood. He was
Yep.
the star of the night over there at BA. I mean, not only picking up that early touchdown on the ground and making some guys miss out there on that Hilton Head Prep defense, but he comes up big on the other side of the ball as well with 2 interceptions, including incredibly athletic INT to just open his account defensively, and just really outstanding knowledge of where to be to finish off those plays and great instincts as well, playing his position on defense. And he has got some wheels and some power at running back. So that guy is a certified dude, and it's going to be a tough guy to stop over there at Buford Academy. I'm exceedingly looking forward to seeing what he does against some teams at a higher level this year. Obviously, the Northwood game, throw that one out. That's a tough matchup to start the season, but it is going to be difficult to find ways to stop this guy if he keeps up the talent that we saw out there on the field tonight in their home opener. So keep an eye.
Yeah, he's stud. He's a great kid too, man. He's a really he's got the Riz. He's got the Riz.
He's got that Riz, but yeah, Nick Underwood, keep an eye on that guy.
Max, I think I know who your player of the game for HHCA probably was.
I would give it to Mareed McCollum, but I got to give it to Flood for Porter Gowd, man.
Yeah.
That dude is by far one of the best running backs in all of Skeeza, and it really showed tonight. I think he had 4 rushing touchdowns in the game, and he just he is a D1 running back. I mean, the dude can truck through guys. He is fast. He is agile. He's just a really, really good running back, and he really was the answer for Porter Gowd tonight. But I'll give Reed McCollum credit. In his first start, he played a really good game, but I'll have to give it to Flood for Porter Gowd.
Yeah. I don't know if he's a D1 running back. I haven't seen his 40 time, but all I know is Zion Dobson wasn't a D1 running back apparently. So the bar is very, very high.
That is true.
That man.
He is.
Speaking of which, I'll save it for Monday night. But Zion getting love from his coach. He's getting some love. They like that guy up there in North Carolina Central. Timmy, you got a player of the night? Who impressed you tonight? You gave me the rosters, so if you got a number, I can tell you.
I don't have a specific player, but I'd give it to that Colleton offensive line. Their whole line, all game, they dominated that JP2 defensive front. I mean,
that's a really solid choice, honestly, because that's a pretty solid defensive front for JP2. They got some good
every
dudes
play they were there. I mean, the run game didn't go too well just because the running back himself couldn't get anything going. But, I mean, the holes were there, and every single play, they were up first. They got their hands out there. Yeah, it was complete domination from them.
I like that.
Yeah,
some of the guys along there.
Colton Prep always has a strong offensive line, too. They always know how to run.
Oh, they're tough.
Line properly.
Yeah. Well, here's what I'll say. The Colton Prep offensive line, I guarantee you them boys can count on one hand the number of hours they spent playing video games during the day this summer. They might have played some at night when they got home, but them boys was working in the summer.
Oh, yeah.
I guarantee you.
Grinding. They were grinding. Hey, that's
they were getting after it.
Yeah. The off season is what really separates the cream of the crop.
And country boys,
summer 2-a-days.
Country boys don't have the privilege of sitting around and playing video games all day.
Right? No, they're going out. They're going out and hunting and
you got jobs to do.
And, yeah,
they got jobs to do.
Yeah.
That's their weight.
I'm a little torn. I'm a little torn on my player of the game because, like you, I'm kind of like you. There wasn't like a standout. Individually, it was a team effort.
It really was just a team battle.
But one guy that kind of caught my eye, like I kept seeing his number, was number 4, Hartman Fisk. He's just a sophomore, and he had some nice games on offense, and he laid the wood a couple of times on defense. I believe he was responsible for the injury, and I'm not like celebrating injuring the kid, but I'm just saying he was aggressive on defense.
Yeah.
Young guy, just sophomore, but really tough out
Future
there.
star.
So I'll give him some love. And then I got one other guy I got to give some love. You know who I'm talking about right here, Timmy. I call him Baby Gronk. It's future star for Carlton Prep right here. Penn Warner. I love the headband. He was the ball boy tonight. But that dude is a little tank. And they're already excited about the prospect of getting him on the high school varsity roster in a few years. He's a little tank.
Yeah.
He had a jersey that said "Ball Boy" on it in the
double zero.
I mean, he was ready to go. He was taking that.
Yeah,
real
he was.
serious.
He was all business.
Yeah.
But so that's my final shout out, my parting thought for the night. So, all right, boys, this was the dress rehearsal. We had a light slate tonight, just 3 games. We got to give them lots of love. We'll have to spread the love a little bit more next week with a full slate, but it's going to be good times. We'll need lots of friends to join us if you're heading out to a game next week. Well, first of all, watch us Thursday night. We'll do our Lowco Pigskin preview, run you through all the games. And if you hear us say where we're going and you're going somewhere we're not, get in touch. We want to hear what's going on over there. We maybe want a live look in the fourth quarter. So that's going to do it for tonight. Thanks so much to Dietrich Schuford for jumping on with us. Thank you, fellas, for coming along for the ride. Thanks to all of our sponsors who make it possible.
Tim Alonso coming on for the first time.
Yeah, Timmy making his debut, jumping in.
Welcome
We're sending him out on his own next week.
Show.
He's ready to go. So
welcome to the circus,
thanks everybody. Thanks everybody for coming and hanging out with us tonight. And if you didn't join us live, you're watching later. Don't make that mistake again next week. Live next week. We'll let you know what time. We're probably gonna have to aim. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Ideally 9:30, but if I go to Hampton, that ain't happening. So it may be that early in the season when I stray a little further, we may have to start it a little bit later.
If I go out to Battery Creek, the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, well, but as long as one person, like as long as I can be here to steer the ship, then it's okay if people just pop in whenever they pop in, you know. So we'll figure it out. It's all a living, breathing beast. We're in the soap opera that is Lowco Friday nights, boys. That's it for week 0 for Lowco Pigskin Live. We'll see you Monday night for the Lowco Sports Lowdown. We'll be doing it every night this week, Monday through Friday. Lowdown Monday through Thursday, shifting gears to the Pigskin preview Thursday night mid-show, and then Lowco Pigskin Live Friday night. We'll see you then. For Tim Alonso, Max Arraj, Wes Kerr, I'm Justin Jarrett. Till next time, go Lowco.